Hi family, I'm Jordan Thorpe and this is Jordan's Journey YouTube channel, your #1 resource to help you grow in life and in faith. If you're new, welcome. If you're already subscribed to the family, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today, family, I wanted to talk to you in regards to God is confusing your enemies, okay? God is confusing your enemies. And you have to understand that there is a whole spiritual warfare that is happening. There's warring in the spirit realm that we cannot even see. Okay, there is a fight for your soul. There is a fight against good and evil. And there are battles that are being taken place. And there are demonic entities that are intentionally out to prevent you from becoming who God has called you to be. And this is not to bring fear. This is just to bring awareness of how much you are protected. You are very protected, okay? And so in my previous video, I talked about God is flipping the script and he's redirecting you. He's redirecting you. You thought you were going one way, but actually God flipped the script and he's like, you're going in a whole new direction, a whole new path. And a lot of times God will flip the script and redirect your path to confuse your enemies, to bring confusion to your enemies. Because you have to understand, as a child of God, people are watching you. People are watching you. They're watching your every move and they are preying on your downfall. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to level up. They're jealous of your relationship with God, okay? And so God will flip the script to confuse your enemies and the plots against your enemies because they're watching. And so they're like, I thought she was doing this. I thought she was doing that. And all of a sudden, God has you doing something completely different that you didn't even know that you were going to be doing, right? Because sometimes God will surprise us in what we're supposed to be doing when he's redirecting us because it's for our own good. Because what you don't know, you can't tell because sometimes we speak too early. But he redirects you to confuse the enemies and to confuse the plots of the enemies, okay? And so he led me to 2 Chronicles 20:17, and this is what Josaphat, he's going to war. He finds out that he's about to be attacked, that his enemies are coming to attack him. And so he cries out to God. And he's like, God, we are not going to be able to defeat these enemies, okay? So what are we going to do? And one of the prophets of God replies in 2 Chronicles 20:17, and it reads, you won't even have to fight. Just take your position and watch the Lord rescue you from your enemy. Don't be afraid. Just do as you were told. As you march out tomorrow, the Lord will be with you, okay? So God is saying you won't even have to fight. Just take your position. And taking your position is just being obedient to what God is calling you to do. Because as you're being obedient to what God is calling you to do, you're saving yourself. You're saving yourself. And there's a point in this passage, in this story, where they cry out to God. And as they're crying out to God and sending praises to God, God is releasing an ambush to attack their enemies, okay? So you have to understand, as you're moving in obedience, that is activating the army of God to fight on your behalf. As you cry out, as you sing praises, it's activating the army of God to act on your behalf. So it's so important that you are doing as you're told, okay? That's what God told them. Do as you're told. And as you march out, I will be with you. God is always going to be with you. But continue to do as you're told. Do not be alarmed by the happenings of life and the distractions of life and everything that happens that can distract us from doing what God is calling you to do. God is saying, keep pressing forward, keep doing as he told you to do in this season, whatever he has called you to do in this season, and you will save yourself from the enemy's camp. Okay, you will save yourself, and that is also activating the army of God to act and fight on your behalf, okay? In 2 Chronicles 20:22 through 23, it says, and as soon as they began singing, the Lord confused the enemy's camp, so that the Ammonite and the Moabite troops attacked and completely destroyed those from Edom. Then they turned against each other and fought until the entire camp was wiped out. Okay, so as soon as they began singing, as soon as they start singing praises to God, the Lord confused the enemy's camp. So he caused confusion amongst the enemies, and that is what is happening in this season, okay, in the spiritual realm. God is causing confusion amongst your enemies, so they're going to be fighting against each other. So you're no longer the target, so they're fighting against each other now. Sometimes people just come together because they have one thing in common. They don't like you. They don't want you to succeed. They're jealous of you. And God is saying he's bringing confusion among them. And just to continue to keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what he's calling you to do. Keep being obedient to what he's telling you to do in this season, okay? As he's confusing your enemy's camp. Don't be alarmed by the redirection, okay? Don't be alarmed by a new path or a new opportunity, because that new direction is the confusion of the enemy. You thought you were going one way, but you're going a totally different direction, because we are dodging the plots and schemes of the enemy, okay? So also I wanted to mention Jordan's Journey podcast season 2 is going to be launching next week. So you are going to be seeing the podcast interviews on the YouTube channel, okay? So I'm going to post them every Wednesday, guys. These are real people with real stories, sharing their testimonies. So I know that you're going to be blessed and encouraged by them. So support the podcast. Listen to it on the channel. Listen to it in Spotify, all the podcast platform, guys. That really helps to support the ministry. It's free to listen, and I know that you're going to be encouraged by it, okay? If you need additional resources to help you grow your life and your faith, make sure you check the description box below. We're taking signups for the Jordan's Journey Academy. We're going to be having master classes. We're going to be having coaching program, mentorships on topics that cover every area of your life. So if you're ready to level up, make sure you sign up for the Journey Academy. Spots are limited. God loves you so much, and so do I. Bye.